Hello and welcome to Supplier T News. For today's topic, we are going to continue the series on the Metaverse, but with this one we're going to be discussing how we believe people will use the Metaverse. As always, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Leave a like, comment on the video, and share with other people you think may be interested in this type of content. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I know last time it took a little while for me to get into the topic, so for this one we're just gonna go straight into it, okay? Alright, so how will people use the metaverse? Now, based off of the research that I've done, we found that there's going to be kind of two different ways in which people will use the metaverse. First, we're going to be talking about how they're using it today, and probably for the next maybe year or two, to be completely honest, and then how they're going to use it in the future, aka 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Okay. So first things first, today the metaverse is really used for two different pieces, gaming and entertainment. Now, while there is some capabilities for workplace type of things, which we spoke about in the last video, the two main uses are going to be gaming and entertainment. And that makes sense, right? When you're thinking about any type of virtual reality, any Second Life type of thing, right now that's really the big piece, right? I would reckon about 70 to 80% is gaming, and then the remainder would be entertainment. Right now for the metaverse, you can do things such as visit concerts virtually, come on, meet different people, things like that. Just really have a good time. Excuse me. Everything's really around, again, that entertainment factor. And then obviously with the gaming piece, anything that has to do with this type of space, in my opinion, has been led by gaming, right? From the different consoles that have been going out, different PCs, to kind of, turning it three-dimensional as early as Doom. People can probably comment on things even earlier than that, but this is kind of something that's always been being pushed in the, I guess, gaming industry, gaming space, if you will. So this is kind of going to be very easy for people who are into that lifestyle to adopt. Entertainment, again, that's something that now that we have things like IMAX, now that we're didn't really get as big, but I remember when they had these 3D glasses that for some movies like Avatar, you could see those in 3D spaces. So that again makes sense in terms of why people are adopting it so quickly. Other pieces, excuse me, other pieces may take a little bit more time, such as workplace, but again, those two, that's typically how people are going to use it now. As the metaverse is getting built out, again, for the next year or two, I really see that that's going to be the big piece. There may be people coming in for some type of social aspect, but I believe that that's going to take about a year. Well, it may be quicker depending upon how Meta and how these other companies invest, but in my opinion, the short term, so I said 1 to 2 years, let's kind of shorten that to 6 months, is going to be gaming entertainment. From there, social, people who are doing this for a social aspect, meeting new people, maybe hanging out with their friends, things like that. That's going to be the second piece. Now, in the social aspect, you can play games, you can go to the movies and have entertainment, definitely. But right now, in my opinion, gaming is more of a kind of structured, if you will, where it's just you're just logging on just to game. Versus social, in my opinion, would be you're logging on to hang out with friends, and if that includes gaming, if that includes going to different communities in the metaverse, then you'll do that too. So more social. Okay. Now, and again, so that's going to be after 6 months. That's really when I see that growing 6 months to 24 months. Now, if you take a look out into the future, right? What do we believe may happen? That's when it gets into kind of that meta video with Mark Zuckerberg, where he's talking about there's going to be 3 different types of avatars or reasons why you're accessing the metaverse. First is going to be work. Second is going to be social. And then the third piece, which he says gaming, but I wanted to expand that out. I called it your second life or your third life, however you want to talk about it. And in the second life, this is when you're going to do anything that you kind of want. Gaming, entertainment, things that you don't necessarily do with your friends or family, but things that you're just interested in. Maybe if you're a history buff, checking out different, I don't know, things that happen in history that you want to participate in within the metaverse. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's go a little bit more in depth into the 3 different pieces that I talked about, right? So going to work, right? What is that going to consist of? Uh, first thing I have here is that the regular 9 to 5 is going to be eliminated. It's kind of eliminated now with everything that happened, over the last couple of years in this remote work. You're really not going to see that, in my opinion. You're going to see people kind of waking up, and when they start work, that's when they start work. As long as it's productive, and as long as you're meeting with your teammates and whatnot, it's going to be a little bit more free for all. It may be 9 to 9, but whenever people are free, that's when they're going to work. There is going to be a virtual workspace, right, where everybody's going to be in one metaverse location, if you will, where you will be seeing people within the metaverse, having meetings, going to different conference rooms and whatnot within the metaverse. Like, there will be offices in the metaverse. You will be sitting there talking to people throughout the globe, and that's something that we really have to talk about here. I call it the global workplace environment. When until the 60s or 70s or so, it was really kind of your local competition, right? Where whoever kind of grew up around you, went to work, or whatever city you were born in, that's kind of the work that you did. From there, kind of like the millennial generation, some aspects of Generation Z and Generation X, I should say, millennials, and then Generation Z, it became more of a national competition, right? When it comes to work, where because people can so easily relocate, can so easily move across the nation, whenever you're going for a job, you're competing against people around the nation. The next phase of this with the metaverse is global competition. What you're gonna have now, because people can meet in the metaverse, it won't matter where you're at. So what that means is that as long as you're accommodating enough to, maybe if you're working for a company in Japan, for example, if you're okay with working from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. and you're in America, then you can get that job now. And what that means, again, is that global competition. So you no longer have to worry about, the guy who's a couple thousand miles, within, maybe you're from California, that person's from New York and competing for the same job. Now you got to worry about people all across the globe, because we have this centralized place where everyone can work now, as long as they're up to it. That is going to add so much pressure on these future generations, and it's going to be I think it's going to be a challenge. We've been moving to this globalization, and we consistently say, we're globalized, we're a globalized civilization, etc. No, we're not. But the metaverse is going to make us globalized, and that competition, because it's already few jobs in certain areas, but now we've got people from other countries that may not have access to those jobs, who will now have access to those jobs as long as you have the technology, and that's going to be interesting to see kind of where that goes. Next up is social, right? So again, we're moving to this global civilization, and this is going to add to it. I believe it's going to be extremely common. Like right now, it's common to have friends, or you meet people kind of across the globe, but you're not really like friends. You're online friends, if you will. Now that you can hang out with them in the metaverse, we'll be able to build relationships. I mean, you may have a best friend who's, in Europe, and you're in South America or something like that. That will 100% be a possibility. So again, global workplace, but also a global friend set. I was watching Ready Player One, and it was kind of funny that like everybody who met were all like in the same city. I think that's going to be very, in the movie at least, not the book, but I think that's going to be very highly unlikely. Now, what does that mean if you're trying to meet them like in person? I have no clue. I don't know how that's going to go, but being able to meet people, being able to connect with people, again, like if you're interested in history, I said, but if you're interested in that and you go to some history type of event that's going on in the metaverse, and you meet a couple people and you guys are really interested and you hit it off, again, one person's from Europe and you're from South America. I mean, now you've made a really good friend. You guys are connecting every time on the metaverse. I mean, that's going to be insane to me. Yes, there are aspects in which you do that today. I understand that, but it changes when you're actually able to see the person, even if it's digitally, right? See their emotions, actually hang out with them, lose yourself in a couple of minutes, other than just typing, rather than just talking, but actually being there, presence. The feeling of presence, as Mark Zuckerberg was talking about. That's going to add a new element. It's definitely going to change this. I do have in there, no more outside play, right? Kind of being funny there, but at the same time, I'm not, right? Because while kids will go outside and play and all that good stuff, like this may be the new going outside and play, right? Going outside, you put on your headset if you're a little kid, and you know, while being outside, and you're just hanging out with all of your friends from across the globe. I could see that being the next phase, right? How do you actually meet them? I don't know if we're going to value meeting someone in person, like actually having them there, as much as we do today, which is going to be interesting when it comes to that friendship aspect. Then the last piece that I want to do is Second Life, right? That gaming entertainment. Second Life, this is going to be the piece where, you know, for you and kind of what you want to do. So maybe you want to, again, I said the history piece, you can meet friends there, but maybe you have something that, you know, not other your immediate friends are into, that you just kind of want to do. You know, friends that you go to school with, maybe they don't want to do that. So maybe you're kind of going out and just leading this Second Life. Maybe you want to be, I don't know, maybe you're really into like the um, Marvel series, right? And maybe there's a community where it's like just Marvel people, and that's all you guys talk about, and you want to create that type of avatar. You may have, it may not just be 3 avatars. You might have like 8 different avatars for your different interests, just so that you can appear there. Because you may want to keep them separate. Just kind of up to you, but something like that. In addition to that, I also put in here, this Second Life could also be like an incognito avatar, and we all know what incognito means when it comes to, you know, the different like Google Chromes and the IEs and whatnot, and the edges and Safari and all that good stuff. So it may be that where people are using kind of that third aspect. But I do think that these 3 are going to be core. You're going to have at least 3, where you have one for work, the professional, the LinkedIn. You're gonna have one for social, which is kind of like the Facebook, Instagram, and then you're gonna have that Second Life piece, which is kind of the gaming, entertainment, kind of what you do, your other interests that may not, you know, coincide with your friends or your work. So I do think that those are going to be the 3. There may be more. Maybe there's something that's been in the metaverse that we can't even perceive at this moment, that people will try to get into, and maybe it'll cause a 4th avatar. Who knows, right? But I do believe that these 3 are the minimum things in terms of how we're going to use the metaverse. Now, there's also other things that we're going to be able to do, such as if you want to build a business. For example, like YouTube has essentially created an entire new industry where people can, you know, stream themselves and make money off of that. Maybe there's a community in a metaverse where that kind of happens, where people are creating businesses and making money, becoming influencers within the metaverse. So more tons more things in terms of how people could potentially use it, but definitely wanted to talk about those 3 pieces just because it was brought up in the Meta video by Mark Zuckerberg in terms of how he envisions it, and I definitely want you guys to know that as well. So another video, hope you like it. As always, leave a comment, like if you do, and subscribe to the video as well, and also share with other people you think may be interested in this content. All right, thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.